Hi, this is Sophie with Today in Geek, here with Joe St. Pierre, the creator, writer, and author? No. The author of the new Zodiax.
Thank you.
How'd you get your start? What was like your first, your first gig?
I started at a company called Valiant Comics. They did Magnus Robot Fighter and Exo Man of War, and my first gig was on a character called Rai, who's kind of like a futuristic samurai character. It was very cool. He's my favorite character from that company, so it was cool.
And I know you've worked with Marvel and DC, worked on Spider-Man. How is it working with, a big name company like that?
It was very cool. Well, first of all, when I was a child, I was a comic book fan. I ate that stuff up for dinner. So, Spider-Man was my favorite character. And so ever since that time, until I actually got the job, I had a beeline focus for I'm going to draw Spider-Man one day. And so when I actually got to do that, that was like head exploded. Now what do I do with my life kind of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Not that many people get to live their dream. So what made you break away from that and start your own publishing company?
Well, that was the other thing. While I was reading Spider-Man comics, when I wasn't doing that, I was drawing my own comics since I was a child. So I have classic characters like Orange Ostrich and the Fruit Family and things like that I did when I was 8 years old. And so I've always been creating characters and writing stories since I can remember.
So the new Zodiax.
Awesome, first of all.
Awesome. And what was your inspiration for that? What made you come up with that?
Well, I'd say when I wasn't reading Spider-Man comics and I wasn't drawing comics, I was interested in science and astrology and astronomy and that kind of stuff. And so ever since I was a child, interested in the idea. As an adult, you start to learn about mythology, and I start to puzzle out, where did these symbols come from and what is the ultimate source of those, what kind of cultures would look into the stars and create those pictures. And so I wanted to play with the idea, and New Zodiacs is about me kind of modernizing those signs, Taurus the bull and the ram. You don't walk outside your door nowadays and see a ram, maybe a Dodge Ram or something. But you don't see these symbols that the Zodiac represents. They come from a different time. And so I was like, what if you could reinvent the symbols and create characters that could channel that energy and reinterpret the symbols somehow? So that was the impetus. And then I had many other ideas in my sketchbooks, and I'd be like, well, this guy is a hacker, and he can access the web with his mind and hack your database, with psychically. So wouldn't he be cool in this context? And it's just so happens that he did fit, for me, he fit the Aquarius symbol, because the Aquarius symbol is the water bearer or the life bringer. And nowadays, water is pretty much everywhere, but information is what is life. What can kill you or save you, So he's the man who brings information to the information poor. He's kind of like the Robin Hood of cyberspace. He kind of hacks info-rich databases and shares them with the poor. And then I have 12 other characters or 11 other characters that are associated with the signs.
Do you have any other projects coming up, or is that pretty much where your main focus is?
Isn't that enough for you? My God. 12 books I got to put out eventually. Other things, I always have other ideas. I had a book called Bold Blood, which was my Game of Thrones meets Saving Private Ryan kind of story. It's fantasy, but not everybody survives the adventure. I did all that before Game of Thrones. Half the characters die in my book. So I've got plenty of other stuff.
Thanks for talking with us, and have a good rest of your weekend.
Sure. You too. Thanks.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow on the link below, and we'll see you next time here on Today in Geek.